I'm honored to welcome today's subject matter expert, Nick Patrick, CEO and co-founder of Radar. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Nick. Nick?
Awesome. Charlie, thanks so much. It's great to be here. As Charlie said, my name is Nick Patrick. This is how location technology is impacting today's digital teams. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Radar. Radar is the leading geofencing platform, and we power location-based experiences for QSR brands like Panera, Whataburger, Dairy Queen, Raising Cane's, many more, and also power location-based experiences for brands outside of restaurants like Dick's Sporting Goods and Retail, T-Mobile, Afterpay, so on and so forth. I've been in the location space for about a decade. Our founding team met at Foursquare. We're lucky enough to work with a number of QSR brands to define their location-based advertising strategy there. And all those experiences over the last decade or so prompted us to start Radar a few years back, and excited to share some learnings today. So wanted to talk to you all broadly about three topics. The first is trends that we're seeing in the QSR space that pertain to location, and also our vision for the future of customer experiences in the QSR space. Some specific location solutions that we support our QSR customers with at Radar, and then a few specific customer examples, and wanted to talk through some of the business impact that those customers are seeing working with Radar related to wait times and customer loyalty and things of that nature. So with that, let's go ahead and dive in. I wanted to talk a little bit about the time that we're in. And I think we're in a world where consumers have more choices and higher expectations than ever. I personally have hundreds of apps installed on my phone. As a QSR, I think it's a tall order to get customers to download your app, to come back to it again and again, to put it on their home screen. We as consumers are used to using services like Amazon or Uber, where we order a package on Amazon. We're used to having it show up on our doorstep the next day. We're used to hailing an Uber, having it show up, pick us up, really seamlessly drop us off wherever we want to go. And I think we as consumers expect that level of personalization, seamless experiences like that from every product and service that we use. I think one of the challenges is that consumers are more sensitive about their data than ever. So they're often reluctant to grant location permissions to apps to share their personal information. So there's this natural tension between your ability to deliver seamless, personalized experiences while also collecting the data that's necessary to do so. And so I think that presents a challenge for today's QSR digital teams, but also an opportunity. And what we're finding is that leaders in the QSR space are really seizing this opportunity. Investing in these types of use cases, working with partners that enable them to realize these use cases. We, a few months ago, did our first study with Forrester, where we surveyed digital leaders across QSR and retail, and we found that the vast majority of QSR brands are implementing or planning to implement on-premise app experiences that are location aware, and also the vast majority of digital leaders in QSR are using or planning on using geofencing to improve pickup experiences. Our view is that privacy-conscious personalization, right place, right time messaging and recommendations, as well as seamless order pickup experiences are the future of QSR. And so it's our view at Radar that location is the most important customer experience investment that QSR brands can make today. We at Radar see location as touching really every part of the QSR customer experience, all the way from attracting nearby customers. How do you have store locator experiences that are fast, accessible, help customers find restaurants near them, maybe engage with them when they are nearby. Seamless order pickup experiences. How do you use location signals and live ETAs to understand if a user has placed an order for pickup, when they're on their way, when they're approaching, when they've arrived? Maybe you're firing the order so that it's prepared just in time for their arrival, delivered hot and fresh. There's also an opportunity to engage the customer with arrival messaging so they know exactly where they need to go to pick up their order, whether that's pulling through the drive-through, walking into the restaurant, pulling into a curbside area. And I think these types of seamless pickup experiences apply across any channel, whether that's drive-through, curbside, or whatever. And then finally, engaging on-premise app experiences. A lot of the apps that we use are static, and they show us the same home screen, the same information, regardless of where we are in the physical world. There's an opportunity to understand if customers are opening your app at home or on-premise, If they're at home, maybe you're showing them something like a store locator or order ahead functionality. If they're on premise, maybe you're showing them their order information, loyalty information, so on and so forth. So tracking nearby customers, seamless order pickup experiences, engaging on-premise app experiences. Location is a really critical input to do all of those well. At Radar, we spend a lot of time thinking about how we can best support our QSR customers to deliver great experiences powered by location. I don't want to turn this into a Radar sales pitch, but I did want to talk about some of the things that we try to enable, some of the things that we're thinking about and investing in to help QSRs build location-based experiences like the ones I just mentioned that are really set apart from the crowd. We think about accuracy and privacy a lot. Obviously, order pickup arrival detection requires a high level of accuracy when calculating a customer's ETA, when understanding if they've actually arrived, if they're in the drive-thru, if they're in the restaurant, if they're in the curbside pickup area. Privacy is absolutely critical. How do you earn users' trust to request location permissions, collect that data, store that data in a really thoughtful way, and only retain it for as long as is needed. We offer SDKs, APIs, analytics, integrations to make all of these experiences really, really easy to stand up. iOS and Android SDKs, we have turnkey integrations with order management platforms like Olo, which a lot of our customers use to power pickup arrival detection experiences specifically, and also analytics capabilities to help you understand how are your wait times changing, how do your wait times vary by location, foot traffic trends, things like that. And at the end of the day, our goal is really to empower QSR brands and also brands in other verticals as well to build world-class experiences with location. In order to enable these solutions, we have a few different capabilities. Geofencing is obviously core and critical here. So opportunity to create geofences mapping to your store footprint, maybe capturing a user's location when they're nearby a restaurant. Trip tracking, so when a pickup is in progress, tracking a trip to a destination restaurant, understanding a customer's ETA, if they're on the way, if they're arrived, if they're heading to the wrong location. In addition to allowing our customers to create custom geofences, we also have lots of out-of-the-box POI data, including polygon data for store and restaurant footprints. So one thing we help our customers with is, hey, I want to power really accurate arrival detection experiences. I want my store locator to be update and accurate in terms of the pins that I'm showing on the map. A lot of customers actually lean on us to clean up their latitude and longitude, geocode their addresses, and automatically provision polygon geofences with really accurate store footprints. And we started as a geofencing platform, but we also have geocoding and search APIs, and we're now powering the store locators of a number of QSR brands. And I think particularly in an environment where vendor consolidation and cost is very important. We can often do this more cheaply than other mapping providers out there. I mentioned redefining what's possible with location. There are three things that we really excel at and that I think QSR brands need to deliver great experiences. We try to set ourselves apart here and really redefine what's possible. First is privacy. I think a lot of digital teams kind of have some preconceived notions about geofencing and what's possible. From a privacy perspective or from a permissions perspective, I think the stereotypical view of geofencing is that it's a background-centric thing. You have to request always-on location permissions. But a lot of the experiences I just mentioned, pickup arrival detection, on-premise app experiences, store locators, really only require foreground permissions. We have a variety of advanced access controls and data retention settings to help you collect only the data that you want to collect and persist it only for as long as you need to persist it. And we also have some new anonymous tracking functionality that actually avoids sending any device IDs or user IDs to the server at all. Accuracy is really critical. Again, how do you carve up your store footprint, create polygon geofences for the store footprint, the drive-through, the curbside pickup area, help you manage that and achieve accuracy down to 5 meters or less. Also, beacon technology for really precise, say, menu board detection in a drive-through, detecting if somebody is at the register in your restaurant or which part of the restaurant that they're in. So continuing to push the pace on accuracy and how far we can go with accuracy on premise. And I mentioned out-of-the-box place data for making your latitude and longitudes of your restaurant locations more accurate and also provisioning store footprint polygons. And then finally, developer experience. Another thing that we're seeing is that modern digital teams are often choosing tools that are really easy to integrate, that are not just tolerated but loved by their development teams, whether that's in-house or supported by an outside partner. So open source SDKs, great developer documentation. I mentioned turnkey integrations, whether that's CDPs like mParticle or analytics platforms like Amplitude, marketing automation platforms like Braze, or order management platforms like Olo. We partner with and integrate with a lot of those. Digital teams have a lot on their plates. Great experiences they want to deliver from their customers. Top-down mandates to deliver a digital experience quickly and reliably. Our goal is to shrink time to value and help you get live with location use cases as quickly as possible. As simple as setting up geofences, popping in an SDK, enabling integrations, and you're off to the races. As opposed to needing to figure out or have your agency or outside development partner figure out iOS location services, Android location services. How do I visualize this data? How do I troubleshoot and maintain it over time? So we want to help QSR brands ship quickly and also get location right the first time. One of the things that's really cool about the work we do at Radar is, we support QSR brands to build location use cases, but we also work with a wide variety of customers across verticals. I mentioned some of our retail customers, Dick's Sporting Goods, Abercrombie & Fitch, American Eagle Outfitters. Lots of interesting cross-pollination of ideas from retail experiences around omni-channel, in-store app experiences, buy online, pick up in store that we think cross-pollinate pretty well with QSR experiences. We also work with a number of rewards and payments apps, travel apps, gaming, delivery tracking. And so our goal is to offer location infrastructure that is really well suited for what digital teams in QSR are trying to accomplish, but also kind of gives you that flexibility to quickly spin up new use cases or innovate beyond even what's typical in the QSR space. I also want to talk a little bit about some of the customers that we work with and some of the results that they've realized with Radar. I mentioned Panera. We power the curbside pickup, arrival detection experience for Panera. They're doing a bunch of innovation around their next generation cafe that's leveraging Radar's technology. Curbside pickup experience for Raising Cane's. Beyond that, we also support Whataburger with similar use cases. We power the store locator in the Dairy Queen app. They migrated that from Google Maps platform. And in general, folks are seeing increases in app engagement. We tend to work with some of the highest rated QSR apps. They see the ratings increase after working with Radar. And in general, I think location is becoming a need to have, not a nice to have, if you want to deliver these really modern, seamless experiences and get customers downloading your app and continuing to come back. Right place, right time messaging with location, we tend to find has 10x or even higher lifts in push notification conversion rates. Opportunity to send right place, right time, location triggered messages during a pickup process if a customer is nearby one of your restaurants. Also using location data, maybe it's a customer's current or historical zip code, state, city, region of the country to target campaigns as well with regional offers or regional specific messaging. And ultimately, our goal is to help folks get up and live quickly, rather than reinventing the wheel and tasking your in-house engineering team or your partner to deliver this. We want to provide solutions that help you get up and running quickly. Ultimately, our goal is to help our customers deliver really great consumer experiences with location, recognize all the things I mentioned, and grow digital revenue over time. So that's a quick tour. I think I'm going to kick it back over to Charlie and happy to take questions.
Yeah, we will indeed turn to audience questions now. Already have some great ones flowing in. There's still time to get in yours, though, if you have not already. So please enter a question down there in the Q&A box. Okay, first one here, Nick. What is the alternative to Radar? How do teams typically build location if they're trying to do it in-house, and what challenges would that create for them?
Sure. There are some native iOS and Android geofencing and location tracking capabilities. I mentioned some use cases like store locators or calculating ETAs. I think the alternative to Radar is an iOS engineer can get ramped up and implement location services on iOS. An Android engineer can get ramped up and implement location services on Android. You might look at tools like Google Maps APIs for routing and distance calculation to calculate ETAs. But I think what we found is that it can be challenging to deploy so many resources that maybe the APIs or the experiences differ across platforms. And what we want to do at Radar is really stitch together all those different components into a really easy to use full stack solution. If you're using tools like Olo for order management, there are integrations that make this even faster. So it's possible to build this yourself, kind of stitching together iOS and Android location services, Google Maps APIs. I think what we found is that it takes a long time. It's error prone. You need to keep it up to date as iOS and Android release new OS versions. It can be challenging to maintain, and ultimately, I think speed of innovation, delivering really seamless experiences that work for the customer and work again and again is really critical. So generally, we'd recommend working with a platform like Radar to speed all this up.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. How accurate can location services get?
Yeah, good question. We always tell our customers that if you watch Apple's developer conference, WWDC, or if you watch Google I/O, the blue dot on the map gets a little bit more accurate every year. So, when we started the company 6 years ago, location services and GPS hardware on devices has come a really long way since then. I think with out of the box iOS and Android location services outdoors, you can get accurate down to a few meters. With some additional tricks that we do in our SDK to throw out bad data or re-requests to get an accurate location fix. You can get reliable enough to reliably detect curbside arrivals or drive-through arrivals or whatever. What we're starting to see though is that our retail and QSR customers are interested in pushing that even further. They want to solve indoor location use cases. They want to understand when somebody is near the register or at a specific table, for example. If they're opening the app, on premise, they want to understand where customers are opening the app and why. So in addition to the geofencing capabilities that I mentioned that can get accurate to a few meters, we also support Bluetooth beacon detection, which can get accurate down below a meter or less. One thing that's interesting is we found that a lot of our customers already have beacon-capable devices deployed on premise. Might be a Wi-Fi access point in a store or in a restaurant. It might be an existing device deployed on a menu board. For our convenience store customers, it might be a Bluetooth-capable device deployed at the pump, whatever. And so there's an opportunity to kind of leverage that hardware that's already there and enable the Radar SDK to recognize it. We're also doing some really cool experimentation this year to push it even further without the need to configure hardware at all. So I would say accurate down to a few meters, enough to deliver really precise drive-through arrival detection and order ahead arrival detection functionality. I think there's going to be continued innovation and accuracy that's going to enable all sorts of cool indoor use cases and other micro-location use cases in the next year or two.
Love that. Sounds like something we'll all come to appreciate at some point. Does Radar typically work with startups, or does it support the needs of large enterprises?
Yeah, we work with both. We're a startup ourselves, and so we think a lot about how we support up and comers and innovators in the space. We also processed over 100 billion API calls last year, and we work with a number of top 100 QSR apps. And so battle-tested SDKs built for scale, powering mission-critical use cases. I mentioned, integrations with order management platforms, CDPs, marketing automation platforms, behavioral analytics platforms, all the tools that modern digital teams at QSR retail brands use. So the answer is both. One of the things that I think makes this appealing both to enterprises and to startups is just our ease of integration and our developer experience. It's something that a small developer at an up-and-coming app will adopt alongside other modern developer tools that they use. But it's also something that we find that digital teams, whether they're in-house at our QSR customers or some of the outside agency and solution partners that we work with appreciate that developer experience as well. So long story short, both. I think there are aspects of our developer experience and ease of integration that appeal both to developers and to enterprises. And we think about the needs of both.
Okay. Looks like as of right now, we just have this one more question, but audience, seriously welcome to enter any more. Nick, what product capabilities will Radar be adding in the coming years? What is the future of Radar looking like, I guess?
Sure. We started as a geofencing platform, and we're super customer driven in our product roadmap. So, pretty early on, we had customers say, "Hey, Radar, we've imported all of our restaurants and stores into your platform. Can you power our store locator?" And so we've started to do that with a number of the QSR and retail brands that we've worked with. So we're going to be continuing to invest in those capabilities, thinking about UI kits to make it easier to build store locators, just investing in quality and coverage for our address autocomplete and geocoding APIs. That's going to be one area of investment. I mentioned micro-location use cases and just continuing to invest in accuracy, both outdoor for things like drive-through, but also indoor. And so whether that's enabled by Bluetooth beacon hardware or Wi-Fi, thinking about micro-location and just continuing to push the pace and extend our lead on accuracy is really important for us as well. I think there are also some really interesting opportunities around location verification. So we find a lot of our retail and restaurant customers want to unlock certain app features or certain deals or coupons in store or on premise, but they want to be sure that customers can't spoof their location. And so it honestly is a really pressing use case in verticals like mobile gambling. It's something that we see come up often for some of the workforce management and delivery tracking use cases that we power. But kind of thinking about continued investments in location verification, along with continued investments in security and privacy this year, are something that we think about. Happy to take another question or two as well.
Yeah, we actually just had a couple pour in here, so I did want to ask you. We have an audience member, Bob, looking for best way a startup could engage Radar.
Sure. Anybody's welcome to visit our website at radar.com, and you can either request a demo, and our sales team will reach out and give you a personalized demo. But one thing that sets us apart relative to some other geofencing platforms and order ahead platforms is that there's also a developer tier that anybody can sign up for and get started playing around. So you can go to our website and click sign up. We have a sample app that you can download and play around with. Go into the dashboard and draw a few geofences, trigger some events. And so one way is just to sign up and start experimenting. But our sales team would also be happy to chat with you as well.
Okay. One more, Nick, then I think we will wrap after this. Have you done any work with private clubs specific to verification and access?
That's a great question. Not off the top of my head. I mentioned that we are starting to work with more, entertainment customers. Think, casinos, hotels, the location verification use case that I mentioned. Are you really on premise, and can we trust your location? Is something that we're thinking a lot about. So I don't know about that use case specifically, but I think it's a great question, and sort of points to the importance of really being able to understand, is somebody in the place that they say they are? Can we trust the location signals that are coming to my back end, coming to my server? And so definitely thinking a lot about capabilities there that I do think apply to QSR use cases, but also more broadly as well.
Absolutely. Well, with that, that will conclude our program. We just wanted to thank Radar for making this possible, to our audience for attending, and of course, Nick, thank you so much for sharing your insights. As mentioned, recording this program will be linked at QSRmagazine.com, or you could use today's login link to view it at any time. Like I said, please share it far and wide. Thanks again, and everybody have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.